Hello, my name is Emily, as you may or may not know, and today we are going to be talking about kryptonite for the chronically online. The internet's special elixir, rage bait. The emotional whiplash that you can feel within less than 10 scrolls of any social media platform has probably altered our brains in ways that we can't even fathom yet, and rage bait is just one little fishy in the sea of content that is slingshotting us every which way like an erratic pinball. You can be scrolling online feeling happy, and then devastated, and then nostalgic, and then outraged. It's like, and at this point, I'm just like, can someone get me a helmet? Because the emotional whiplash is about to give me a concussion. And honestly, if emotions came with a copay, oh, I'd be broke. So it's a good thing we have today's sponsor, ZocDoc. Sometimes it can feel hard to take your health into your own hands when your hands are already full, right? Trust me, I get it. When you're feeling busy, overwhelmed, or unmotivated, making a doctor's appointment is pretty much the last thing that you want to do. But being a proper adult has forced me to think about the ways in which I need to take my health into my own control because mommy and daddy aren't going to do it for me anymore. I'm a big girl now, so I kind of need to take it upon myself to make sure that my health is not going into the gutter. But for me, ZocDoc has made the adult responsibility of booking your own doctor's appointments a breeze. I actually found my primary care provider through ZocDoc, and the process was so easy. It took me less than 5 minutes to find a provider that was aligned with my needs and my insurance. I actually just had my appointment last week, and oh my god, my provider was so nice. They took my bloods. I peed in a cup. My sponsor, ZocDoc, is a free website where you get to search for and compare high-quality in-network healthcare providers, choose the right one for your needs, and then instantly book an appointment. We are talking about in-network appointments with more than 100,000 healthcare providers across nearly every specialty. From mental health to dental health to skincare to eye care and much more. You can filter for doctors who take your insurance, are located nearby, who are a good fit for any medical need that you may have, and who are highly rated by verified patients. And you can see their actual appointment openings, which makes things super user-friendly. I mean, you literally just click the time that works for you, and then you instantly book that appointment, babe. Plus, ZocDoc appointments happen fast, okay? Typically within 24 to 72 hours of booking. You can even score same-day appointments, okay? And you don't even have to talk to anyone. Just book with a few clicks. Stop waiting, stop guessing, and start getting the care you need. Okay, go to ZocDoc.com/notevenemily to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. Thank you so much to ZocDoc for sponsoring, and now back to the video. Before we get into the phenomena of rage baiting in the form of profitable content, first I want to talk about the phenomena of just instigating on the internet in general. I wanted to talk about rage bait's predecessor that, in my opinion, started a whole new era, right? Trolling. And of course, this behavior does live on today, right? Sometimes you read a TikTok comment where it's like, I know that you're just waiting at your screen right now, rubbing your grimy little hands together like a horsefly over a pile of pig shit, right? Just really hoping, fantasizing, frothing at the mouth, hoping that someone gets upset or has a reaction to your comment. And maybe some even consider trolling and rage baiting to be one and the same, but I do find that there are slight distinctions in my mind, in my sick and twisted mind. For me, for moi, right, besides the fact that trolling entered people's lexicon much more before the term rage baiting. Rage baiting, in my head, I associate a little bit more with content creation, whereas trolling I associate more with the comment section and chat rooms. Before today's age of the internet, trolling mainly took place in forums or, you know, the comment section of an article and things like that. And according to The Guardian, right, in the late 1980s or early 90s in the MUDs, or multi-user dungeons, or Usenet discussion groups, one of the favorite pastimes of these early net users was to troll for newbies, aka to ask questions or start discussions that established users knew were old hat with the intention of showing up new gullible users. So basically just exposing who in the chat was new and dumb. So pissing people off on the internet, I mean, it's a tale as old as time, right? It's an important part of our history. Okay, great. Thank you, Amanda, for that portrayal of Helen Keller. It's very impactful. All right, who wants to do their history project next? Me, I'll go. All right. Great. Which historical figure are you?
Your mom.
It's very funny.
Want to hear something even funnier? Your marriage, because it's a joke.
Okay, that's not appropriate to say to your teacher or any person.
I'm not talking to a person, I'm talking to a peasant.
I'm not a peasant.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not.
I think we need to start integrating violent video games into school curriculums. The younger, the better.
What?
If women want equal rights, that means I should be able to hit them like a piñata.
Okay, I am not dealing with this today, so...
Why, hello, I'm not dealing with this today. I'm an internet troll.
Oh, that's good. Now, again, this is just my personal perception, right? But although trolling and rage baiting do have a lot of overlap, I think another slight distinction that I have in my head is the aspect of anonymity, right? When trolling first emerged, you know, it was a lot of people hiding behind their video game character or their profile picture. They don't have any posts, things like that. There was really no way for them to be held culpable for their words. And of course, this still lives on today. I'm sure if you scroll down any post long enough, you'll see a faceless profile commenting things that, well, their mother wouldn't necessarily be proud of. For example, one time I was reading the comments of a post that was announcing a celebrity's death, and as I was scrolling, I saw a comment that said, their outfit at the 2019 Met Gala was horrendous. But now there's also people who have their face and name attached to the inflammatory things that they say, right? And that's something that wasn't really in the beginning stages of trolling, right? My age demographic, we grew up with the internet. We remember a time before the iPhone. A lot of our first cellular devices were like flip phones, or the phones that you slide up with the keyboard that you could actually press in the buttons. Oh, so cunt. But after getting access to this method of, intentionally trying to make people upset with basically very minimal consequences, I feel like this birthed the, mean behind the screen behavior. Or not even always necessarily mean, just intentionally dumb or, controversial. But seeing how people in the early days of the internet were just trolling for no monetary compensation whatsoever, it really goes to show that some people just get genuine enjoyment out of being aversive. Especially during this developmental time for both the internet and the people using it, right? You have a bunch of insecure tweens and teenagers who are probably more prone to this type of behavior, shaping the way this new thing could be used, right? AKA for trolling. I remember I had a teammate in middle school on the field hockey team, and this was when Vine was a thing, right? And she was showing me, oh yeah, sometimes I just comment like hateful messages on random people's posts when I'm bored. And then I literally watched her go onto this Viner's profile. She was like a blonde girl, like powerful side bang. And she was one of those people that said those things like, don't kill yourself, life is beautiful, things like that. We were sat on a bench and I watched her type out, this is dumb, she's a fake blonde, I have proof, and then hit send. Obviously, she was like 12 or 13, and there was definitely things that I was doing at ages 12 or 13 that was like obviously not okay and stuff I wouldn't do as an adult. But yeah, I guess if I get a comment down below saying, this is dumb, she's a fake Asian, I have proof, then I'm gonna know who it was. And I'm sure a lot of internet trolls back then weren't just kids. I'm sure it was also just bored as fuck low-life adults as well. It's a very age-inclusive hobby. But before people could make their livings off of pissing people off on the internet, they were just doing it for the love of the game, right? I mean, they didn't want a single dollar. The only thing they wanted was a reaction.
To continue on your journey and venture under the bridge, you must solve the troll's riddle.
Wait, what? Yo! This is the troll? This is my balls? What?
Cheerleading isn't a sport, teachers should be able to hit their students, heroin should be available in pharmacies, and ugly people should have to submit applications in order to reproduce.
Bro, what? Okay, can I just like pay you a toll or something?
Pay my butt with a poop fart.
What the hell are you saying? Okay, I don't know why Google Maps told me to come this way. You're pissing me off. And that's all that I needed to hear. Thank you, and please continue on with your journey. Okay. God, this Trader Joe's is in the middle of fucking nowhere. And then, of course, this brings us to a time where this type of behavior not only elicits a reaction, but perhaps enough money for your rent and gas, and not only that, but a little something pretty for yourself too. Now, people aren't hiding behind an anonymous username or avatar, right? Now, people are saying insane things with their face, city, alma mater attached, right? And they're stirring the pot openly with enough enthusiasm to give themselves a rotator cuff injury. The once humble, grassroots endeavor of irritating and annoying people on the internet has become its own niche profession, for better or for worse. There are a lot of different markets that thrive off of human emotion, right? Some generalized ones being, the cosmetic surgery industry preys on insecurity, the, security items like locks and ring cameras, all of that prey on fear. And maybe it's just escaping me, but the newfound profession of rage baiter seems to be one of the only things that directly profits off of anger and irritation, right? Because the algorithm doesn't see emotion, right? There are, of course, industries that could profit off of the lack of anger or irritation, right? Like, for example, we buy bug spray so that we don't have to be irritated by insects. We buy dishwashing gloves so we don't have to deal with the sensory irritation of our hands getting wet. But rage baiting is something where the profit literally comes from the anger being targeted towards the distributor. The internet is truly amazing. I've never heard of some shit like that. I don't know of any other type of self-employed person or institution making more money when their consumers are angry. I'm sorry, but again, this is not what I asked for. This is a broom. What did you want? A Caesar salad. Oh, okay. This is a pile of shit and nails. Okay.
Can I just get my Caesar salad? Can you get the hell off of this earth? Okay, no one wants to look at that hideous outfit and that god-awful abrasive accessory you call a fucking face. Kill yourself. Give me that shit. This is the worst service I have ever gotten.
Hey, nothing much, just talking to this ugly bitch.
Oh!
Obviously, to thrive as an online creator, it's a numbers-based game, right? And evidently, one of the best way to crank up those numbers is to get people pissed the fuck off or at least in the mood to argue. There are people who don't really care how they come off to the general public, right? They feel that their fans and their haters are one and the same because, hey, you're both keeping my bills paid, right? Love me or hate me, you're still paying for my acai bowl, bitch. In striking contrast to most content creators who it is a utter nightmare for them to be caught in a controversy. For rage baiters, it's like, hi jackpot, I'm about to hit you. Now, there are many different ways to piss people off on the internet. Let me name some. So, one example I see would be people playing these scripted characters, sort of portraying types of people or types of behavior that is, off-putting. And these videos are supposed to be satirical, but sometimes it borders so much between satire and coming off as genuine that people just get mad anyway, right? For example, there's this one guy who, he does skits as a rich, spoiled European kid, and I think by now a lot of people know that his videos are scripted and he's playing a character, but I remember in the beginning stages of when he started to go viral, people in the comments would be mad and be like, oh, you're so entitled.
Why is it? Can I not buy this? No! I know it's $2,000. Yeah. What, you think I can afford it? Lucky the car is on break right now because they don't even let Fiat inside. Your little Fiat Panda, okay? You can go back to the other people. So the weather? No, what weather? It's perfectly fine weather. There's no weather problems. Why is everyone shouting me green? I just want to buy some Wagyu. How much is it?
It's very expensive.
And you go up to people and you kind of like prank them and get mad at them. Are some of them in on the act?
Most of it's scripted.
In an article from BBC, they highlight a rage bait creator who does scripted or semi-scripted videos from the perspective of a New York model, Winter Zezu, right? I got a lot of hate. The words of content creator Winter Zezu, who last year made $150,000 from posting on social media. And for you Brits out there, right? That is 1,000 pounds. What separates Winta from other influencers? The people commenting on her posts and driving traffic to her videos are often doing so out of anger. Every single video of mine that has gained millions of views is because of hate comments, the 24-year-old explains. In those videos, she documents the life of a New York City model whose biggest problem is being too pretty. What some in the comments don't realize is that Winta is playing a character.
The egg was not on the salmon.
So can I please get a new one? I don't want to eat it. Okay, so I ordered a salmon benedict, which the egg clearly is supposed to be on, and then why is the sauce even on the side? Like it's supposed to be on top.
Aren't you the girls in train girls that's like so rude to everyone?
How am I rude?
I see you everywhere. I see you on the train. I see you on TikTok everywhere. Literally, I'm so tired of continuing, but I just want to scroll you out of my restaurant right now.
Do you have a problem with me? I'm confused. I'm literally just like every other customer, if not prettier. I'm not
Why are you telling me that?
I watch your videos. I'm actually
I'm
a
so
big
confused
fan.
why you're talking to me right now. Anyways, can we just go? Like,
Yeah.
Stop wasting my time.
I get a lot of nasty comments. People say, "You're not the prettiest girl," or "Please bring yourself down, you have too much confidence," she says to the BBC from her New York City apartment. In another article from Business Insider, they write about her. Oh, there's a paywall. So, fuck my life from the back, I guess, right? I sadly can't open the article, but I do remember reading through it, and there was one part that stuck out to me where I think when she first posted, a video playing this character, she was like, I can't believe that people thought this was real. I can't believe people thought I would actually act like this, but they kept on believing it, and I kept on getting a lot of views, so it's like, hey, why don't I just keep on going with this thing that is somehow bringing me success? Looking at Winta's TikTok bio, it says, "Welcome to my mini SNL." So clearly she's not trying to completely convince the general public that she is this character that she's portraying. And actually, in some of her videos, she's the one being wronged.
Apparently, you cannot eat a burrito this way.
Yeah, it's good. You can't eat a burrito like that here.
And I actually saw that these two have collabed before to, maximize their joint enraging slay.
That's insane.
That's insane.
Are you okay?
You actually speak like that? You actually speak like that?
And it's interesting to think about being this type of creator where the most profit comes from eliciting genuine reactions from your audience, even though you're not being genuine because, you're playing a character and it's all a skit, which is a good thing because they're portraying, not the greatest people. And I feel like it would be a tricky balance, because obviously you don't want people to see you and be like, oh, you're that bitch from TikTok, or you're that asshole from TikTok, right? You don't want to be known as actually a person who treats other people poorly, but at the same time, I guess that's kind of what the whole point is that you're portraying this person that's supposed to come across as being real, because people are going to respond a lot more if they think that the behavior is coming from someone who actually is an awful person rather than just an actor playing an awful person. But yeah, outside of these two, I don't know how the rest of these types of content creators are making their content right. My hope is just that everyone else in the video is also involved somehow. I feel like sometimes I see these types of videos where the person might be playing a character or it's under the guise of a prank, right? And it's like, I get that the whole thing is supposed to be a joke, it's supposed to be satire or what have you, but if the people in the video don't know that, then as far as they're concerned, they're just being treated like shit. It kind of reminds me of method actors when they stay in character no matter who they're around, and it's like, okay, well, buddy, at the end of the day, you're just terrorizing the people around you. So this is the first year the Academy is recognizing rage baiters. As a pioneer of the art, what was your reaction? I mean, it's about time. How does it feel to be acting in scenes where your scene partner is essentially unaware of the art that they are participating in? The best performances, they come from a place of truth, right? And what better way to elicit the truth than to perform with people who have no choice but to give you what is real and raw?
For the last time,
Ma'am,
I
I
was
need you to
promised a
calm
French
down.
onion soup
Can you-
without the broth, without the onion, and without the French.
What are you saying?
Do you know who my father is?
Why? Who is he?
Why are you asking me questions about my personal life?
What? Bitch,
What has been the hardest thing about dedicating yourself to this practice? Losing my friends and family. Miss Wang was so committed to rage baiting that it began to bleed into her real life. can you please just sign the divorce papers?
I don't have a pen.
You said this last time, so I sent you another one.
No, I don't have one.
Check your mailbox.
Me have no pen.
Amanda,
Pen me no heavy.
the kids are suffering for God's sake. My last question to you is, has it been worth it? Honestly, not really. Another type of rage bait videos are those overconsumption core rage bait videos, where it doesn't necessarily produce a visceral anger or outrage, but maybe more of a, why would you do this? Why the hell would you do that? You know, those videos that are like, girls after a breakup! And then it's just this guy with a wig on and he's like filling a huge Tupperware full of ice cream and putting like ladlefuls of sprinkles on it and then enough chocolate syrup for, you know, for it to be an inlet to Willy Wonka's river.
Jelly! Peanut butter! Hey! Red and green pepper!
People making meals or recipes that look purposefully bad, or people who do restocking videos or haul type videos showing all of the unnecessary items that they have, basically saying, you know, hey, if you thought that I had a lot of disposable income, let me confirm that for you. And I can understand why, you know, people see these videos and feel a certain type of anger or irritation, because it's like, yeah, babe, you don't need that much shit. You don't need that much shit, Sally. Okay, why do you have 30 BB creams in this drawer? Do you have 29 other sisters that I don't know about? And I'm sure that, you know, some of the things that they're showing in their videos are gifted to them by brands or whatever, and they're not actually buying every single item that they're, you know, displaying on their profile, but still, it glorifies this aesthetic of just having too much stuff. Because let's be honest, right? Having that much stuff might be good for content and shocking an audience, but to actually live amongst, oh no. That would be ridiculous, right? Like an overconsumption rage baiter, they would be the worst roommate ever. Hey,
Hi.
why is the floor covered in milk? Oh, I was doing a TikTok where the joke was like, baristas when they make your matcha, because it's always like milky as fuck, right? And right, awesome, super funny. Would you be able to clean up a little bit? Because it's just... Oh yeah, of course. I was gonna clean it up after my next video that I'm gonna film, which is me at Chipotle, and it's gonna be me putting like 3 gallons of guacamole on a singular burrito. When are you gonna film that? Oh, just in like 2 or 3 days. No. Hey, why are there 24 different hair masks in the shower?
Oh, I just did a haul for my followers.
Are you gonna use them all? Yeah. You know, I'll probably save some for my kids and my grandkids and stuff. Okay, well, I can't fit...
I just got another brand deal for hair products.
I don't think you need any more. What the hell?
Oh no, my Shein haul. Oh.
How much stuff did you fucking get? And you know, some people might find some overlap between this sort of thing and being a collector, right? I know that blind boxes have sort of been at the forefront of the overconsumption conversation, and you know, there is some validity to that, I'm sure. You know, it's not everyone really needs, oh, you know, dozens and dozens of Funko Pops or Labubu's. But I do feel like collecting Sunny Angels or Smiskies for your own pleasure might be a little bit different than dumping an entire bottle of foundation on your face just to, you know, get a shocked reaction from people in your comments being like, hi, why did you do that? At least with the collectibles, there's a sense of genuine interest, right? And happiness, you know, even, and cultivation of community, I feel like you could even argue, right? With the overconsumption TikTok creators, who I'm sure they might not consider themselves rage baiters, but that's kind of what it's spun into, right? It seems like you're making this stuff and buying this stuff solely for the reactionary purposes from external sources, right? We need to start looking inward. Look inward, babe. Like, you can't convince me that these people would be doing all of this stuff if a camera wasn't involved, right? I highly doubt that owning that much stuff or using that much food or having that much product genuinely brings you happiness. It feels like waking up every day. It's just this cycle of violence against myself because the worst thing that I can do is exist.
Sorry to interrupt our session, but you know what helped me after I became a tween orphan? I take my 43 different Stanley cups and I fill them all up with a different brand of soda that I keep in my dedicated soda fridge. And then I use ice cubes from my different custom ice trays that have the shape of every different type of polygon.
Which polygons?
Every different one! And then I have a crazy straw collection that outlines the public transit systems of every major US city. And then I sit on one of my boneless couches, sit for about 3 hours while I play ASMR on all 4 of my not public, it's private in my home, flat screen TVs that I have on each wall in my living room.
That really makes you feel happy? And then lastly, we have influencers who rage bait not through playing a character, but rather upkeeping a persona. And I know it's similar and they might seem like the same thing, but I would say they are a little different. I think that the former has a higher sense of satire and a degree of separation. The latter, it feels like they aren't as concerned with any degree of separation, right? Any character that they might be playing, they are still presenting that character as themselves to the audience, even though they might know that the audience knows they're only acting that way to get a reaction. With these people, you can't tell what's for the camera and what is who they truly are as a person, right? Hell, they might not even know, right? The most prominent example coming to my head is like old Trisha Paytas, right? Where she would say all of these, you know, sort of inflammatory things or shocking things. And it's like, wait, does she actually think this? Or is this like, is her whole thing just a character? And honestly, okay, tangent. I know this is not the same thing pretty much at all, but for some reason it gives me the same internal feeling. Witnessing these types of influencers gives me the same feeling as when you look at a word for too long and then it just starts to look wrong and you're like, wait, something's not right. And honestly, it gets to a point where, you know, even if this person doesn't believe the stuff that they're spewing out onto the internet just for likes, it's still damaging. You could be the sweetest slice of cutie pie off camera, right? But it means jack shit. It means jack shit. It means Jackson Shittington. Even if things are just for the content, it can still affect people very tangibly, right? We see this a lot with people who fall down the right-wing pipeline, right, to maintain some sort of relevancy. They purposefully make inflammatory statements just so, you know, people can talk about them. We have Ollie London, who drifts between irrelevancy and semi-relevant, right? And he recently started making some anti-trans statements and engaging in anti-trans rhetoric, which I don't know if he believes it or not. But I'm sure what he's aware of is the irony of him being anti-trans when not so long ago he was trying to be transracial and become Korean, right? Baby, you're not my oppa. Christian Walker also followed a similar path, posting conservative takes in the beginning of his online career. For example, in 2020, he called the Black Lives Matter movement ghetto and a terrorist organization. And, you know, this is how he gained notoriety through, you know, posting these conservative takes, especially him being, you know, a man of color who's also gay, sort of being like a token for the right. However, he seems to have evolved his platform and he seems to make posts now that honestly pander more towards a liberal audience. And some of you snowflake libs are actually eating it up, right? For example, on the Reddit page LA Influencer Snark, someone made this post saying, Christian Walker's content did a full 180 from being a black gay guy doing Republican propaganda to girl boss advice on how to let go of toxic men and level up. I love his rebrand within the past year. He used to be insufferable with his right-wing takes during the pandemic, especially considering he's gay and black, but now he does content for the girls, and he's funny. Yas, Queen Slay. So for these political-based rage baiters, right? I do believe that people can change their viewpoint, people can change their opinion, right? But it's pretty clear that some people are just trying to do whatever gets them the most clicks. Another person who comes to mind who at least has served us some consistency is our Miss Pearly Davis, right? If you don't know. H. Pearl Davis, some have called her the female counterpart to Andrew Tate. So that tells you a little bit about her, right? I would say it's a little bit of an unfair comparison just because Tate is like a literal sex criminal, so I wouldn't call them twins, but they might be cousins. I don't want to dwell on her too much, but I just want to read some of her tweets so you can get, you know, the kind of persona that she has online. 16-year-old chicks are hotter than 26-year-old chicks. Thank you for sharing. Women voting implies that men and women are equal. We are not equal. We have different roles and responsibilities in society. It's feminism. Getting divorced should be illegal and I'll stand on this hill. You should work it out, point blank, period. It's not about you anymore, it's about your children.
completely agree. I think we need more loveless marriages in America. I actually think women are more violent and sexual than men. I think women have projected that onto men. Let men date the 18-year-olds. I keep trying to think of things women are better at, and I can't think of any, LOL. I thought maybe we are more compassionate and less violent, but then I thought about the fact that 1 out of every 3 women has killed her own child. Miss Davis, who told you that? And here's the thing, right? I believe people can change, but these are fully grown adults who at one point or another were okay with their face and name being attached to this type of rhetoric. Yeah, I don't really want to have a kiki with you, let's just say. And especially for the people who have been keeping up this shtick for years and years, it's like, okay, you know, if I show up to a white supremacist rally and I go regularly, being that they let me in for some reason, and I know deep down in my soul that it's not what I'm truly aligned with. I don't believe in these people. I don't believe in this message, right? At the same time, I still sure am recording myself there and posting it. So what now? Is the engagement really worth the dirty, nasty money? I'm just like, how can you feel okay with it? How can you sleep at night, right? And I also think about these people, some of them have managers, have, representation. I'm like, I wonder how their managers feel. I'm sorry, you said what on the podcast? Kids who don't stand for the Pledge of Allegiance should be subject to early wisdom tooth extraction. You said all men should be required to remove their G-spot from their rectums. Where would they go? Into storage. What does that even mean? No, honey, I'm telling you that there are no sponsors. Trust me, I'm trying, okay? I pitched you to the brand. Listen, she's young. She's beautiful. She's got engagement out the wazoo.
If I had a daughter, would I rather her be a lesbian or a feminist? Well, that's like asking me if I would rather chug hot lava with glass shard sprinkles or shit out breeding piranhas.
I think we'll pass. Yeah. Listen, your Planned Parenthood picketing vlog, it got 5 million views. All right, obviously, as a feminist, I'm completely and utterly appalled. However, as your manager, honestly, at this point, we just need to keep up the momentum, right? Maybe we could get you to have a talk with Ben Shapiro, or you could go on one of those Jubilee videos where you're on the conservative side. No, I don't think it's beneath you, actually. So why is it so hard to just not engage, right? Especially on social media when it's so easy to just scroll and find something else to look at, right? You know, why stand in front of a puddle of shit and piss when there's a carnival across the street? Well, when people are negatively impacted by something, it tends to have a longer lasting and more intense effect on us, right? There's even a term for it called negativity bias. Negativity bias is defined as the tendency to not only register negative stimuli more readily, but also dwell on these events, also known as positive-negative asymmetry. This negativity bias means that we feel the sting of a rebuke more powerfully than we feel the joy of praise. It's the same reason that out of all of the compliments that you've ever gotten in your life, what sticks with you is the one insult that you've gotten in middle school where the popular girl said that your eye color was boring and shit color. And some of you might be thinking, wow, Emily, that sounds really specific and personal. And that's because it is, right? I still remember where we were standing. We were standing outside of my local movie theater at a high top table eating snacks, and the weather was a little bit overcast, but comfortable enough for a light jacket, right? So maybe it just goes to show that the negative stimuli is a little more impactful, right? All right, so those are going to measure your brain waves while we see how you react to certain statements, all right? And I just want you to respond how you would normally respond. Yeah, okay, sounds good. Okay. I like your hair today. Thanks. All right, normal, great. I think that your shirt is very cute. Oh, thank you. Not even Emily.shop. Awesome. Okay. Your boobs are a weird shape. Oh my god, how the fuck did you even do that? But this can also translate to rage baiting, right? Which is obviously a negative stimulus, right? And I think the combination of our negativity bias with also the inclination to want to always be right. You know, we have this sort of
newfound moral superiority with the birth of the internet and being able to share our opinions and also absorb other people's opinions 24/7. People are having these intense feelings towards these negative things that they're seeing on the internet, and at the same time they want to be able to say, hey, I don't agree with this, and sort of impose their moral superiority or whatnot, and sort of be like, I have to take a stand against this thing. Whether it be a response to political rage baiting or the overconsumption core stuff, or just someone else on the internet being blatantly disrespectful. And on the topic of blatant disrespect being labeled as rage bait, right. I think some people are just using that term as an excuse to be a mean-spirited, nasty individual. Where it's like, this is not a fun amount of trolling anymore. Like, shit is not lighthearted. If you said this to someone in real life, you could get beaten or killed. Like I mentioned before, trolling and rage baiting started as free labor, right? But it's pretty evident that a lot of people are still applying for unpaid internships, let's say. Because the practice literally has the intent of making people upset, I feel like it's a pretty easy gateway towards, you know, using this thing to just be completely out of line, right? And just plain mean. Which, as we all know, is a special talent of some people on the internet. People will be overtly hurtful and then just be like, it was just a joke, it was just rage bait. Bro fell for the rage bait. And it's like, you told me that my face looks like a punishment for my ancestors since they lost a bet and that I should kill myself. I'm not falling for the rage bait, I just don't really feel like putting up with your bullshit.
Oh, ha, bro fell for the rage bait. That's not rage bait. You're a fucking asshole. What do you mean I fell for the rage bait? You said something mean. You said something mean and I didn't like it. So I responded. The fuck are we talking about?
And as someone who's been online for a long time, obviously, I've heard the advice of just ignore it, don't give them the attention. And overall, I feel like that is pretty solid advice because that is what they want. It's a reaction. But the fact that people feel so comfortable to be so mean on the internet, unwarranted to a stranger, right? And they completely fail to recognize that the person receiving these words can internalize them, right? Or even that it could just, you know, make them sad for even like 2 minutes, right? You're still having a negative impact on somebody. And then to do that under the guise of rage baiting, as if that absolves you from your behavior at all. You're a strange individual. You're very strange. And then when the target is upset enough to react, you feel this, you know, satisfaction like you won the interaction or something. And it's like, if making people upset brings you a lust for life, I'd say that we need to do some introspection. I'd say that you need to start with the man in the goddamn mirror. You know, it's like that thing where someone is harassing another person online and then that person blocks them and then they screenshot the fact that they got blocked and they're like, LOL, they blocked me, loser. Right. Okay. I mean, it always depends on context, I suppose, but it's like, so they're the loser for blocking you, but you're not the loser for harassing a stranger unwarranted on the internet. Honey, did you take your medications? Like, it genuinely does baffle me for people to be mean to others on the internet for actually no reason, and then they just carry on with their day.
Welcome to a day in my life. First things first, I rinse my face and then I do some facial exercises. Of course, I have to check social media and see what amazing things are happening in the world. This person just posted, I've got terrible luck. I almost got hit by a car today, but thank God he missed me. I'm gonna reply, better luck next time, wishing you well. In parentheses, I'm talking to the driver. Then I take some time to meditate and try to center myself before eating a balanced, healthy meal. And then of course I do go on my phone again. Oh wow, this person just graduated from college after struggling with addiction. Hopefully that degree can distract from that hideous mug. Hashtag educated but uggo. Hashtag celebrate with a drink. Then I do some journaling on Google Docs because I don't believe in handwriting, and then I end the morning with some affirmations.
But anyways, I hope you all enjoyed today's video. Moral of the story, rage bait is just that. Bait for your rage, right? So even if you feel like you're a volcano that's about to erupt full of fury, right? we can just like scroll, right? Because if you engage with it, it's going to show you more of that. And do you want to spend more of your day pissed off? But comment down below, have you guys ever fallen for rage bait? I will say, I don't think I've really ever commented anything negative on anything public, just because obviously like I'm a public figure. I can't imagine if one of my followers was scrolling through something online and they say, oh, Emily commented on this. I wonder why she commented to this person that she wants to slap them in the face and push them into oncoming traffic. I hope you all have a good day filled with joy and laughter and not rage. And until next time.